Awesome. Got it. Well, thank you everyone for joining tonight. If you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up online and in person. Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. We've got quite the agenda tonight. Came upon us pretty quickly over the last week, but we will do our best to roll right through it. Make sure it fits the slide. There we go. Starting out with some ground rules here. If you have questions, please enter them into the chat. We also have some lovely paper on deck here at the in-person meeting. If you do wish to speak, please raise your hand. We have some time at the end of the meeting for guest speakers or community speakers. And as well as our guest speakers, please wait until they are done presenting to answer any questions. Likewise, no interruptions, that would be great. And behave on your common courtesy. Cool. The agenda. Tonight we'll start with the treasurer's report and ask for dues if you would like to become a dues paying member. We will also have a call for board nominations. To be on the board and to vote for anyone to be on the board, you must be a dues paying member. Dues are pay what you can. In the years past, they were $10. I can get more into that in a little bit. Didn't update this slide, but we have guests here from the McCormack House who will present some plans for the interior renovation of the McCormack at Forest Park Southeast. We have Scott, added an extra ER there, Seekert, who will present plans on 4210 to 4212 Manchester. We'll have a crime and safety report from Officer Walker. Officer John McLaughlin is here tonight. He is retiring from the police force, and he will have some words to say for the community here tonight, thanking them for being good people. Not his words, my words. We'll go through some events, and then we do have some time at the end for some community discussion, one being a spring block party. Let's dive in. Treasurer's report. Last month, over the month of July, we had expenses for Zoom, which were $14.99, no incoming revenue. If you would like to donate or become a dues paying member, membership is pay what you can. Members get those voting privileges to vote for board representatives. If you would like to become a dues paying member, you can pay here tonight by cash or by check, or through Cash App at the link here. Is there anybody online who would like to be a dues paying member? Only ask because in our next section, we will go into a developing an elections committee, and then nominations for board positions and a vote. And to be on the board or to vote, you must be a dues paying member. If they're not, we can move into the next section. Fly on by. All right. So board nominations and vote. Last month, we did have 2 board members provide the written notice of resignation. So nominations will be accepted at this meeting, and vacancies will be filled by majority general member vote at this meeting. These elected representatives will serve to the end of the year when we have our nominations in October, vote in November, and the cycle starts January 1st of 2023. Our 2 vacancies are treasurer and member at large. Here's a list of the responsibilities of treasurer according to our bylaws. A lot of the day-to-day or the week-to-week, I'll say the month-to-month, is making sure the budget is updated and tracking those who provide donations or become a dues paying member in the log. And then we have member at large, which is mostly assigned special functions. You can be on the events committee or help out as needed. You're kind of a Swiss Army knife and an overall good person. So at this time, if there are any people who are dues paying members who would like to nominate themselves for treasurer. If you can do so in the chat or here in person and raise your hand. We have one nominee in person. Cami has nominated herself for treasurer. Is there anybody online who would like to nominate themselves as treasurer? All right. Our next open vacancy, that is a redundancy right there. Our next vacancy is member at large. Is there anyone in person or online who would like to nominate themselves for member at large? If so, please raise your hand here or drop something in the chat or raise your hand. Yeah. All right. Mark has nominated himself as member at large. At this time, going once, going twice, nominations are closed, which means next we will go into a vote. So here's how it will work. We, the board, right now will form an elections committee by volunteer first. Is there anyone here who would like to serve as on the elections committee tonight? Thank you, Sarah, for nominating yourself to be on the elections board committee. How this will work is we will have both in-person and online voting. Again, you have to be a dues-paying member to vote. In person, I will pass out these little cards. You can see them. I will show them to you, these little cards, in which you can write in your nominee or your candidate for treasurer and member at large. And then online, for those who are dues paying members online, we'll go into a quick breakout room in which I will share the link to a Google poll in which you can vote for your nominee. So what Sarah will do is she'll collect the ballots afterwards, count them, and tally them up. Again, another redundancy. With that said, I am going to mute my mic and then bring in people who are dues paying members online into a breakout room. So be patient. It should only take 1 minute. All right. Sign manually. Michael, Trisha, and yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I will add into the room. Thank you. I'm gonna add myself to the room. Where am I? Do you see me up here?
No, I think you're already gonna go to the room.
Oh. Screen share. What about now? All right, can you guys hear me online? All right, I dropped a link in the chat. If you guys don't mind opening that up and then casting your votes for those positions. At large. You gonna tally these up? I got a paper right here if you wanna use it to add. Let me know when you guys are finished. You can give me a thumbs up or drop something in the chat, and then I'll exit the chat and enter into the results and share them with Sarah. See, we have 3 responses. I think we're waiting for 1 more. Michael, Andrew, Tom. Cool. Refresh the page. I think we're waiting on 1 more person to cast their vote. All right. All right, I am gonna exit this room and we'll all go back to the previous room. Oh, leave. Pick it up. Doing great. All right, thank you. What's that? Is that better? Okay, thank you. All right. By vote, we have 7 votes for Cami for treasurer and 7 votes for Mark Mingapore as member at large. Thank you everyone for participating, and thank you for nominating yourselves. Congratulations. All right. On to probably why many of you are here and online, some development information. So the Alderwoman has requested that the association provide time to 2 different groups to inform residents on their sought neighborhood projects. Our goal here is to make the community aware of what is happening in regards to these developments and see if residents have any questions about the project. They will present and if we have time, answer some questions. Any unanswered questions can be dropped into the chat, and we have little pieces of paper here for you to write your questions on. And then the Alderwoman's Forest Park Southeast Development Review Committee will discuss at their Forest Park Southeast meeting on August 18th, which is this Thursday. Without further ado, I will welcome, I believe Nicole and Sarah are here tonight to present on the McCormack House at Forest Park Southeast. I'm not presenting my screen anymore.
Great. Good evening. Can you hear me okay? This is a very big room. My name is Nicole Blumner. My colleague Sarah Rose. We're here from McCormack Barron Salazar. Thank you for the time tonight to give us a chance to talk a little bit about McCormack House at Forest Park Southeast. So a little bit about our company first, just to give you a little bit of an overview of McCormack Barron. The company was actually started here in St. Louis, excuse me, in 1973 after a rent strike that took place at Pruitt-Igoe. Richard Barron was a legal aid attorney who got very involved with working with the tenants there. And then he met Terry McCormack, who was a home builder. They formed the company with the goal of building affordable housing, first in St. Louis and then beyond that. And the company's really grown to kind of specialize in mixed income housing, whereby depending on the project, there could be typically about a third market rate units, a third affordable units, typically tax credit units, and then low-income housing tax credit units, and then often another third public housing units. So I'll talk a little bit more about some of our projects in St. Louis that you might know, but to the next slide. Great. Thanks, Dan. So you may be familiar with some of our local projects. We now work around the country. We're in numerous states and cities, I think about 25 states at last count, but really a lot of our work has been here in St. Louis. So not only McCormack House, we also have the Adams School in Forest Park Southeast. We helped redevelop that with St. Louis Public Schools. And then nearby, fairly nearby, the McCormack House on Westminster Place. Westminster Place itself, you may know Renaissance Place, which is up by Symphony Hall, and the Washington Apartments, which is over at Washington and Kings Highway. Those are all projects we've done in the last 20 years or so. So it's a pretty big company. Most of the people, we have 700 plus people. Most of those people work at the sites. They work in management. They help run the properties. We manage pretty much all of our properties and manage some for other companies too, but we generally own and manage all of our properties after we build them and hold them long-term. And a lot of the people who work on the sites actually live in our communities. So that's a pretty cool synergy that happens. So just maybe going on to the next slide here. You know, for us, we really want to have the ability to have mixed income within our apartments, so that if you start, you know, in one of our developments and you're a public housing tenant, and then you earn some more income, your income goes up, you might then qualify as a tax credit tenant, and then maybe your income goes up even more, you're doing well, you know, you don't qualify for that anymore, you could qualify as a market rate tenant. So the idea is to create a community where people can grow in that community, stay in that community, even if their income changes, and they will qualify, you know, for a different category of units. So this just gets into a little bit of our philosophy on the design of our projects. We really want them to be market looking, no matter who is living in them. So there's no separation of the types of units depending on, you know, what your income level is. It's all built and designed to look like a market rate project. So when you drive by our projects, you don't think, oh gosh, there's a low-income housing project, because we really try to build them of a quality that that would reflect, you know, a apartment where anyone would want to live, not just someone who needed to live there because of their income. And so for family projects, that means we try to have pools when we can, because it's important for kids to have a chance to swim and, you know, and exercise in the community. For seniors, you know, we have just amenities that you would have in any nice senior building, like a hair salon and, you know, a place for people to, you know, have community meetings and community spaces that are good for seniors. So we really try to, want to go on to our next slide. Also within the units have those types of finishes, so people have, you know, in our newer developments, we have more in-unit washer dryers. Seniors is a little less space. Those are smaller units. So we have washer and dryers on each floor. And then, you know, dishwashers, just kind of everything you would expect for a market rate apartment. So, so those are pictures of actually some of our newer developments. And so what we're trying to do at McCormack House is to bring it up from something that's 20 years old to those level of finishes that you see there. So just, I think one more slide on kind of our, you know, our goals and our standards when we build is we try to do things sustainably. So, you know, a lot of green, we've used enterprise green communities, we've done LEED projects. So we try to do that wherever we can. And then we're always looking as we renovate to upgrade to be more energy efficient. So just a little background on us, and then really just a few slides for you on what we want to do at McCormack House. So McCormack House history, it was built in 2001. It was a partnership that came out of the plan that was done, the community plan for Forest Park Southeast, that was brought together WashU Medical Center, a number of neighborhood organizations, City of St. Louis, and then MBS as a development partner. I mentioned we had Adams School, so we were the developer for that. And then one of the needs identified in that plan was senior housing. So that was how we became involved with McCormack House 20 plus years ago. And actually WashU bought the land, the Medical Center Development Corporation. And so they still own the land. They're the ground lessor and we are the ground lessee, and then we built these improvements. So, things have changed. At the time, it was a majority low-income census tract. Now it's actually bumped out of that, which actually, when you're looking at applying again, as we are for more tax credits from the state, it actually reduces what you can get because they give you a bump up if you're in a low-income tract, but it speaks to how much the neighborhood has changed and how incomes have gone up in this area. So there are 89 units. It's actually a 3-story building, not a 4-story building. I was overly ambitious when I was making that slide, but there is a little bit of a slope roof, but nobody lives up there. And it's almost all 1-bedrooms. There's a handful, there's 4 2-bedroom units. And it has 29 market rate units, and the rest are at either 50 or 60% area median income. So in other words, the rent on those units is capped at what someone would be able to pay who earns that income level. So you can't pay more than 30% of your adjusted gross income at that level if you're in one of those units. Actually, interestingly enough, the market rate units, because the state is our lender and provided the tax credits, they actually govern kind of how much we can charge on the market rate units. So those are actually affordable as well. They have to be a little bit more than the lowest price units, but they're actually all currently under they are considered affordable at that 60% level. So, and we have tenants who've been there for many years, people really like it. We recently met with them and asked them, what they liked about it. And they talked about the location and the people and the building being a great building. And so they are very much, supportive of where they are and want to stay there and want to see good things happen there. And it's, as I mentioned, seniors, so it's 62 plus there. And as far as we know, we think it's pretty unique to this area. Like we didn't find a lot of other developments that kind of are specifically for that population. So it's well occupied, not a lot of vacancies as you might expect. So just some of our goals for the project, really, when we do this, you're not going to see a lot of changes on the outside. It would just be repairs. We may need to replace the roof, do some tuck pointing. It's actually in pretty good shape on the outside. Probably some landscaping, just, kind of filling in holes, that kind of thing. One thing that happens over time is the parking lot can kind of get uneven. So we need to fix that for ADA purposes. So we'll do all those kinds of things. We're going to need to do some things to meet the city of St. Louis's green energy standard. So in a few years, that's going to kick in. So we think we can do that with just some upgrades. If it becomes possible to do solar, we would certainly look at that, with the credits that are coming up from the federal government. So that's something we, need to look into further, but we're still kind of at the beginning of the process here. But the biggest things are just, if you can imagine a 20-year-old kitchen or 20-year-old bathroom, that's kind of how it looks in there. And the stoves are actually pretty small. So we'd like to find a way to just have normal size stoves and just upgrade the units so that they are nice units, but they're a little bit, dated. The color scheme is a little bit dated when you come in. So we just want to fix some of those things, do flooring that's, a little bit better, more easily maintained, and just kind of bring it up to a nice level for the next 20 years. Interestingly, there's a commercial kitchen in there. So some of the discussions with the Alderwoman have been about, are there ways that we can bring that back? Because it's not functional right now, bring it back, it needs some equipment. And then maybe there are ways that we can partner with groups so that there are some events there or uses of the kitchen that even, reach out into the broader community, because I'm not sure how much sort of the residents get out into the community. Maybe there's a way for the community come in. So, and then, you know, probably some tech upgrades, fitness upgrades. It needs, you know, some newer equipment in that department. And, you know, with these rehabs, they're actually, the amount of work doesn't really take more than a few weeks. So we're going to really try to minimize disruption for people. And hopefully we can create enough vacancy that we can just create a block of units, as, you know, just by attrition, create a small block of units and then kind of roll people through the rehab so they don't really even ever have to move out of the building. That's our hope, that we're able to do that. So as I said, we met with the tenants recently, and they are supportive of all of this. They certainly, you know, we will certainly work with them to get all their, you know, their input, and hopefully give them a chance to give some input specifically on finishes and colors and that kind of thing, so that they really feel like, you know, invested in the effort, because there will be dust and noise and all that stuff for probably about a year, maybe less. Hopefully, we'll see. It just takes time to do these. So we're really at the beginning of the process, but as we go in to apply for the low-income housing tax credits, that comes up in the next month or so here. We're just engaging with figuring out, you know, the financing, how it all comes together. And so we are seeking, or we will seek, to extend the tax abatement, kind of renew the tax abatement that we have. And that's a pretty important piece in terms of our ability to keep things affordable, you know, keep the rents as they are, keep the quality as it is, and just keep the project on a sound footing, because these projects, they don't generate a lot of cash flow. You know, it's pretty much you sort of pay the bills and hope at the end of the day that, you know, you kind of came out even. So the tax abatement that we have has been pretty important to making all the numbers work. And so we would hope that, you know, we can basically renew that so that we can continue to maintain, you know, what we have there, make it better, keep it as an asset to the community, and keep it a really affordable place for people to live who, you know, who want to stay, you know, in kind of an urban space. There's a lot of senior projects that are pretty divorced from, you know, from an urban context. So it's nice to be part of one that's really very, you know, much within your community. So maybe I'll stop there unless I left anything out there, and just, you know, take any questions, thoughts, comments that anybody has. Good. Well, I put my contact at the back of the presentation. So if you do have questions, you know, now or a later time, it's in there, and feel free to reach out. And, you know, we want to keep being good neighbors and, you know, just be a part of the community here. And as we develop, you know, more plans with construction, we'll certainly, you know, be in touch with the neighborhood, but I don't anticipate there'll be a lot that is really disruptive just because of the nature of the work. And we have kind of a lot of parking spaces. We can just kind of keep things hopefully on our site and out of your, you know, roadways. Okay, great.
Kalina,
Yeah.
you're free to
Hi.
ask your question.
Okay. Hi, Nicole. This is Kaylina. How you doing? I was just wondering if you have if there's going to be any, you said limited external work. Is there any site work or any different integrations with parking or the bus route along there or neighboring? Just curiosity. It sounds like probably not.
We haven't engaged formally any architect yet. We're just trying to identify one right now. So we have not gotten to any level beyond just walking around the building and talking about it. And it seems like some of the trees are overgrown, that type of thing. We wouldn't be proposing changes like that you're talking about unless they were needed, or unless, you know, there's some idea that we haven't talked about yet for adding improvements, but probably that'll be challenging budgetarily.
Yeah, sure.
Note, or as getting to know this site, that the lot in front of McCormack House is owned by the Science Center. I don't know if you guys know that, but it was supposed to be a park. So wouldn't it be cool if the Science Center put a park there? That'd be amazing. But we don't, control it, but certainly if there are ideas or
Noted.
things that people are interested in, I mean, please, we'd love to hear it. So it just would be a question of how do we, find the funds to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's really just maintenance, deferred maintenance, because like I said, we don't really have a lot of money to do major capital kind of projects without doing a refinancing.
Got it. Thanks. I guess, is this just an
Does that
FYI
hopefully
then? I don't
answers your question?
understand. It does. I just don't understand why this is even being brought to our neighborhood. Like, it's nice. Thanks, but I don't see why we need to know, I guess that's the part I'm not understanding.
Kalina, can you repeat that? Sorry, I had to put my
Oh.
computer on mute because there's dueling mics and hybrid is hard
Sure.
and stuff like that.
Sure. My mistake. I guess I was asking again why why is this being brought to our neighborhood? I'm not understanding if it's, internal FYI or cool. Yeah.
Yes. The Alderwoman asked if both of these groups could present tonight for informational purposes.
Okay.
What is presented here tonight, any questions that come up will be given to her new development review committee, which meets on Thursday for consideration into whatever process that they go through. We can have her answer some questions to that tonight if she has any answers.
Okay. Thank you.
Got it. Any other questions before we move on? Just to try to keep on the agenda. If you do have any more questions, you are free to drop them in the chat and we can provide them to the development committee and the developers afterwards. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to Scott. He is going to present on 4210, 4212 Manchester. He also has a very nice model here in the room. I can take some pictures, and that'd be okay if I took pictures and shared them.
I was going to try to do.
Oh, if you want to do that, I can probably bring the laptop over there as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it is. Look at that.
This is a little out of sequence, but we'll try it.
Here. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Do you have the slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so my name is Scott Seekert. I'm the architect for 4210, 4216 Manchester Avenue. It's on the south side of Manchester, just west of Boyle. The owner and developer is Alan Chung, and he asked me to help him come up with a development plan as well as do the architecture. Right now, it's there's a portion of the site with no building on, and then he also owns the existing two-story building, which the first floor is vacant at the moment, and the second floor is an apartment. You can go to the next one. So our plans are to construct a new building on the east portion of the site, and then the existing building, we are going to add a third floor onto that. And then in the back, there would be parking for 11 cars. And then you can go to the next slide. So this is the plan of the first floor. In the new building portion, there'd be a small lobby that would take you into the apartments, which I'll show you on the second and third floor. The retail space is about 1,900 square feet. And then the existing building the retail, it'll be retail on the first floor, about 1,000 square feet. We're asking for some minor variances from the Board of Adjustment. One of those is that according to the form-based code, you have to have your primary entrance on the main street, which we do with the new building, but the existing building, if we were to put the stairs and that into that space, it would really take away from the retail. And we think it's really important to have that retail on the first level. So we're proposing that you would go through the lobby of the new door out the back, and there'd be an exterior stair that would take you up to the second and third floor. And you can go to the next floor. On the top two floors of the new building, the second floor, there's 1 studio and 3 one-bedrooms. In the existing building, there's 2 studios, and then you can go up. And then the third floor has, in the new building, 2 one-bedrooms, a 1 two-bedroom, and then again, 2 studios in the existing building. Yep. So we looked very closely at the existing fabric of the street, and we thought it was really the most critical thing was to create that pedestrian experience and really have the building read as the retail on the first floor. You can see in some of the existing buildings that the doors are set back, so that if you when I show you the model at the end, you'll see that the lobby door kind of goes back, and then that part that jets out is kind of like a contemporary version of a bay window. And then on the existing buildings, the upper floors just kind of read as apartments, more solid with a punched opening. So you can go to the next one. So this is the elevation on the top and kind of a rendered one on the bottom. So you can see it's a real glassy open area for the retail in the lobby. The upper floors just kind of read as an apartment. On the upper floors, the material will be a metal panel, and it'll probably be a color that will match the brick that is prominent along the street. And then maybe we can just show the model again.
That doesn't work. All right. Yeah. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick.
Pretty well.
Did it? Oh, okay. Is it working right now?
Yeah, I got like a nice split screen here with the model.
Cool.
So that's my introduction. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
We had one in the chat. I'll read it.
Yeah, thanks. We did have one question from the chat. I'll just pass back the mic here. We had a resident ask that it looks like there's some homeless people on the Wichita side of the building, and asked if the developer has any plans for that population.
Oh, that's probably for the other group.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll direct those to
Yeah,
the,
we can save
we'll
that.
direct those to the other side. Thanks.
We might have a chat question right here. Beautiful work. Andrew Horner says beautiful work, Scott.
Oh, thank you.
I'll ask a question just for me.
Okay.
So yeah, I agree. Really contextual. Appreciated all the photos too in that study. Curious about the metal panel selection, and specifically about the color to match brick. Is the intent to be like brick? And if that's the case, why not use brick? Just kind of curious more about how that came to be.
So I'm trying to maybe the original idea was to use fiber cement board lap siding, but in a very contemporary way. So I don't know if you can really see on the front, on the facade, on the second and third floor, there's like vertical metal pieces, and then the fiber cement board would just be in between. But when we presented to the city, that would have required a variance, and they kind of convinced us that the metal panel would be a more suitable material. So it's not really my intent to match the brick, but it would it would blend more so that the glass first floor really stands out in the upper floor. It would be contemporary. It would not be brick, but it would blend in terms of the. Oh yeah, that's concealed fasteners and relatively small joints. It'd be like 6-inch strip panels with relatively small joints. Okay. It's a range.
We do have one question here from the chat from Stevie. Any chance the storefront at 4216 Manchester will be enlarged? At some point, it was lowered in recent years.
It was what in recent years?
It was lowered in recent years. He's asking if storefront at 4216 will be enlarged.
It's all right. The storefront at 4216, right now the door was, there's a door on the left side that goes up to the second floor, but we're not going to need that because the stair will be in the back. So the entrance door will be on the left side, and then right now then there'll be 3 storefront windows, and that cannot be as glassy because we need the vertical piers for the lateral loads. So it's as glassy as we can get it. If that answers.
He said the height of the storefront openings are lower than they were historically.
I didn't know that was the history. I just kind of see on the new building, there's a line like 2/3 of the way up from the sidewalk. I just matched that line to the top of the windows for the existing building.
Any other questions? If you do have any that pop up, you're free to write them down or drop them in the chat later, and they will be given to Scott and the Development Review Committee for them to review on Thursday and take into consideration. Scott, your model here is very beautiful.
Thank you.
How long did it take to make?
This is my passion. I'm pretty good at it now, so it doesn't take too long, but thank you.
Yes. Cool. You can take this nice piece of artwork back. Great. I need to see my face again. I'm sorry. Cool. With that being said, we're going to move into the crime and safety discussion. I believe Officer Walker is online tonight, and I will unmute myself and allow her to take it away.
Hello, everyone. Hopping in with you guys. Did anyone have any questions for me? Catching up, I sent out you guys crime report earlier today. It's not a whole lot going on. I haven't got into a whole lot of things. I don't know if I told you before, we do have a new captain. He will be reaching out to some of the groups probably within the next couple of weeks once they get everything situated and everybody gets moved in and settled down. With that move, we're also in the middle of having a station remodel, so everyone is kind of everywhere. My extension did change. My office changed due to the renovations. That should have been listed on the email today that I sent out. But my new number at the office will be 444-0130. I will send that out again just in case some folks didn't get it. And then again, we look forward for the captain coming in, speaking with the neighborhoods, and he'll also be speaking with some of the businesses. Did anyone have any questions for me, any concerns about anything that's going on in the neighborhoods? I'm kind of driving. I stopped by the office on Vista. I guess the meeting's not there tonight.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I came by, but the chains were on the door. I'm sorry. Anybody have any questions for me?
Maybe
Can
it
you
was the
type
wrong
them in?
entrance. Chains in the door. Are we locked in? Anyone know?
Yeah, you guys are locked
help.
in. I
We do
came
have an officer in
by.
the building, so maybe he can help now. Yeah, not sure what happened. I am so sorry about that.
Yeah, but everything's still the same, majority of you guys' crime, is on Manchester and the Grove area, basically on the weekends with the car break-ins. it's, the guys are still targeting the neighborhood, especially along the Chouteau area where it's darker out there. So a lot of you guys crime again is coming from over there. I still can't stress, if you're going to go out to these cars, do not lock your guns inside your car. So if they steal your car, they have a gun. But if you have to leave your gun in your car, please buy a gun lock, have it mounted down in your car. That way you can put your valuables in there so they won't just break in and steal everything. We're still going over the same thing, just parking smart. Any valuables, take them off your car. Don't take them with you. If you have to leave them in your car, get a lockbox, lock them down. Clubs. I recommend the clubs because, we have the Kia boys out here. They're still in the Kias and the Hyundais, and, that's their thing this year. We're getting a lot of those cars stolen. I spoke with the tow truck driver yesterday, and he was just telling me, how they have thousands of these cars stacked on top of each other on their tow lot. They're running out of space on the parking lot because there's so many cars getting broken into, and a lot of people didn't have insurance on their vehicles. So they have a lot of these cars sitting down there. So we want to be mindful. If you need a club, let me know. Give me a call. We can try to get you some. I think the clubs we're selling for 15. City Hall has them. The 5-star senior citizen arsenal, they have them. Like I said, these are $40 clubs that they're selling for $15. So if you need one, let me know. Give me a call. Send me an email. We can try to, make sure that you get one. Other than that, it's basically the same thing that we discussed every month. I don't know the plans right now, how the captain wants to do everything. As of right now, I've been told, to just proceed as, we were doing up under Captain Marks. My new sergeant, of course, we have another sergeant, Matthew Simpson. He took Sergeant Calibro's spot. So we're still trying to work out some things. And we have a couple of new officers on D platoon that'll be also working along with me. So once we all get together and get on the same page about everything, we will update the neighborhoods and let you guys know what's going on.
We do have one question in the chat. What is from Tricia Flanagan? What is the best number to file a police report?
Okay, if it's something that just happened, like, hey, you came home and you noticed your house was broken into, you're gonna call 911. If it's something that's going on, you're gonna call 911. If it's something that happened prior and it's not an emergency, then you can call the non-emergency number. You notice like something was stolen out of your garage. It's been like over a week or something. Non-emergency. Parking. Handicap thing. Non-emergency. You want to call 911. The thing is, if there's something going on, we need to get officers in the area. So hopefully they can locate these subjects. Calling the station to talk to me, it's not going to help us catch the guys. If I'm sitting in my office or I'm in a meeting or somewhere, I can't get out there. But if it's something that's going on as an emergency, hey, police need to be out there. It's 911. And if it's something that's just not an emergency, it's not that urgent, then you want to call the 231-1212.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions for Officer Walker tonight? Okay, I think we are good. Thank you for your time as always. Appreciate you being part of the neighborhood.
Do you guys have a flyer for the September event?
I do not have one made quite yet. We're still waiting on a few vendors or businesses or organizations to jump on board, but I will have that over to you in minutes. We finalize it.
Thank you, Dan.
Awesome. Would you like to have 5 minutes or so to write any word updates or talk more about the review committee by chance?
Great, thanks. Good evening, everyone. I have a few updates for everyone. I'm going to start with the Forest Park Southeast Development Review Committee. As you know, the committee is going to be meeting on Thursday, August 18th. And at this point in time, it's rolling application. 7 members are seated at this time. We have an architect, we have a neighborhood association member, engineer, somebody from Kings Oak. And I have relaunched the development review committee because I really would like to get community and grassroots voices looking at these developments in more fine detail. And they're going to look at the form-based code zoning, and the developers will also be presenting to the committee. And the committee will be advising me on how we should be moving forward, or if there's any questions from the community, they will be asking and advocating for the community at the same time. One of the things that is really important for the committee and for just the community is that we are looking for residents south of Manchester. We also are looking for individuals, underrepresented individuals, people of color, long-term residents. And if you're a renter 1 year or longer, you're also eligible. So we are looking to fill those spots as soon as possible. And Aaron, who is a Forest Park Southeast Neighborhood Association officer, is also the point person at this point in time for the committee. So you can direct questions to him. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about regarding development is that Lux Living was going to go up to the Cultural Resources Office to demolish Kings Highway at the meeting in August, but that has been taken off of the agenda. It was not on the preliminary agenda. The third is that there is going to be a new development, and I've seen is going to be 4534 to 4556 Manchester. And so it's going to be the Grove properties. And so that's something that's going to be going up to be reviewed by the Development Review Committee. And then we're going to have to do some community engagement to bring it to the neighborhood too. So that's a brand new development. It's going to be a large development in the neighborhood. And then lastly, important is that there's going to be a TIF Commission public hearing on September 14th at 8:30 in the morning for Cortex. They're looking for 3 TIFs regarding some of the projects that they're doing. One of the projects I have been working with Cortex in terms of looking at that TIF project. And then there are 2 projects that they want to have the TIF are expiring, and they want the expirations to be extended for another 10 years. And then lastly, is that I talked about the harm reduction initiative in terms of the fentanyl overdoses in Parkview Apartments on Forest Park Avenue. We just came out with a listening report. It's called the Parkview Apartments and 17th Ward Community Listening Report. And I will be having, or actually it's on my website if you would like to read the report. What the report is that we had in April 2 meetings, one with the Parkview apartment tenants where the overdoses took place. And we had a listening session regarding what they felt would be helpful for them in their community to mitigate drug use and substance abuse. And then we had another listening meeting with harm reduction providers. And so we are talking about doing collaborations between different public service providers in terms of mitigating drug use and also keeping people safe. And so you can read the report on my website, tinasweettpeel.com. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to try to speak a little bit better so there's no echo. Let's see if this works. Online, echo online. All right. Next, we have, okay, great. Some community updates. I'm going to hand over the mic to John. John has a little bit of a story and a history here in the in the neighborhood. And then we will send it over to Trish, who is online tonight, who can talk about a spring block party that she is thinking of. Yeah, John, if you want to come on up.
Yeah, go for it.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to take some time and I thank you for letting me speak to you. I want to give you a little bit of a background. I'm a St. Louis police officer. I'm a sergeant with the Metropolitan Police Department. And 30 years ago, July 22nd, I was assigned to the Forest Park Southeast Neighborhood Association, or Forest Park Southeast Neighborhood, along with the Lafayette Square neighborhood. I was in what's called a relief area. And it's important to me tonight to tell you how many wonderful memories and partnerships that I had garnered in the neighborhood with all the residents, business persons. It carried with me throughout my career. I spent 8 years in the neighborhood working as a patrol officer. And I attended nearly every one of the neighborhood meetings, which were then held in the church at Taylor and Arco. So many things have changed. I guess what a difference 30 years makes. The building we're in now was, or near the building we're in now was Columbia Iron. The partnerships that I fostered actually, I believe, made me a better police officer. Community was very important, had become very important to me. I was trained in 1992 when the department went to community art and policing. And I sort of took that on as one of my goals when I came back to my patrol area. And I think that we were all very successful with that partnership. Then I was promoted to sergeant and assigned to the building at 4219 Gibson, which was called Patrol Support. And at Patrol Support, I was the one that was responsible for putting the nuisance problem property team together with the police department. So I had worked that for another 5 years in the neighborhood. And then throughout the city, I had responsibilities throughout the city. So I was injured in 2017 and I've been fighting, trying to get back, but the doctors say I'm not going to be able to perform the duties of a police officer. So I'm going to be retiring next Friday. And I just thought it was very important for me to thank you all. I know that everybody's new to me, but I hope that there are some of the older residents that would remember that I was down here. A quick hint or a quick deal was I started the club program for the city of St. Louis. So the clubs that we're distributing we started that with several insurance companies gave us the seed money, and believe it or not, that's the same seed money that we're using today. So if you buy a club, we take and buy a new one to replace it. And it's a very successful program. We've distributed over 40,000 clubs. So use that visual deterrent. It's important to use that visual deterrent. It's also important to use other things that are hidden as well. If you'll use a layered approach to protecting your vehicle, such as kill switches, even alarms, you'll reduce your chance of being a victim of auto theft. So I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for everything. You made me the police officer I was, and I really believe I was very successful. So thank you.
I think we have so much to thank you for. So thank you. There's so much you've done, and it doesn't go unnoticed. It's
Well, so many fresh faces. I was hoping to see one person that was here. Maybe they're online. I hope.
Yeah, there's probably a couple online, but this is recorded, so we're happy to send it to anyone who you might know. Or
It made me a better police officer. and I think I served the community well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for coming out tonight. Oh, yeah.
Officer McLaughlin, I just want to say how touched I am for you being here, and I see, how emotional it is for you in terms of your retirement. And I'm grateful that you came out to the community today to just introduce yourself to a lot of us who are new here in the community. And it also was really gratifying to hear what you did back in 1992 when you came here. So I really appreciate you being out and being part of the community and wanting to continue to be with us. So however we could welcome you and continue to welcome you even in your retirement, it'd be wonderful. Okay.
But I forgot to tell you about my Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Alderwoman. I forgot to mention that September, or I'm sorry, from there getting hit in the head, August the 29th, I'll start a new job with the city of St. Louis, and I'll be the nuisance problem property coordinator with all the city agencies and with the police department. So I'll be doing a job that I've done for quite a while and have great knowledge in, I believe. And I'll be working under direction of the Director of Public Safety. So.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you so much, John. We do have one question here for the Alderwoman regarding the committee. Oh, I think it's already been answered. Never mind. Moving on, Trisha, I believe you have some words to say about a spring block party, and then we can talk a little bit about some upcoming events that we have planned and call it a night. So let me remove my spotlight and turn it over to you, Trisha.
Hey guys, that's a tough act to follow, Officer McLaughlin. My husband and I are new to the neighborhood. We just moved in January, and we're actually living in a hotel because we have damage to our roof. And so anyways, it's been quite a wild ride renovating our property and now moving out. But so because of that, I was hoping to throw some kind of a little block party around, the end of Gibson and that little cul-de-sac area. I don't know. That's just kind of a spot that stuck out in my mind with all that grassy area and that big sort of dead end spot. But maybe there's a better place. And so I was thinking about doing this more like in September and the fall, but with I won't have the bandwidth with getting my house back in order probably until the spring. So if anyone's interested, I just wanted to introduce myself and put that out there.
Yeah, well, welcome to the neighborhood. Sorry about your house. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, I think we can help coordinate a block party. Next month, we do have a larger neighborhood party. I think that would be a good opportunity to talk to some folks. We can help out and figure out if anyone else is interested in coordinating this block party with you, or finding a time, a date, and just figuring out how we can move forward with that.
Yeah, I think it's September 10th. I think I have to be out of town for my brother's wedding, but yeah, I'll just follow up with you guys on the Facebook page and see if there's more feelers probably after Christmas, I guess. My intention early before our house stuff took this direction was to actually do this in the fall, but I'll be looking to see if there's any interest in the spring.
Yeah, I think a spring party would be great. We always host our bigger neighborhood events or event in the fall, so I think something to kind of set the tone for the year would be awesome. We can definitely touch base after that.
Okay, great.
Oh, sorry. Were you say something? Hybrid, man, it is hard. All right, two more things before we wrap it up here. On August 20th, which is this weekend, we have our second to last neighborhood cleanup. It is at the corner. We'll meet at the corner of Newstead and Manchester and figure out a spot in the neighborhood to pick up some trash. We focused heavily on the south side recently, and I think we can look to see what areas have a lot of trash flow and we can divide and conquer. Our last one will be on September 17th. And neighborhood night out. So neighborhood night out is a very large block party. It is for the whole neighborhood to come out and get to know one another. Like in years past, we'll have a food truck. This year, our food truck is sponsored by Washington University Redevelopment Corporation. They're currently helping offset the cost of the expense of all that free food and meals that will be provided that night. We'll also hope to have a raffle, some local businesses and organizations out and about. I hope to have the new St. Louis City MLS club out there with their street team, kicking some soccer balls around. I will have some music and it'll be a good time. I hope. It always is. It's always a good turnout. If you would like to help with that or any other events, we always need the hands, whether you love planning parties or being a part of them in any other way, whether that's designing flyers or drafting sponsorship opportunities. We could use the help. It's a lot of work. With that being said, are there any other communities, anyone else from the online or here in person like to say anything before we head out? Give it a minute. No? No? Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining tonight. Our next meeting will be, it is September, the third Tuesday in September. Come and join us at the neighborhood night out and a cleanup event this Saturday. Stay safe, and that's about it. Thank you guys. See ya.